quarterbacks different enough, the number one and number two guys, that you kind of have to prepare differently for them?
Yeah, I mean they do different things. They got different skill sets. I mean they play with three quarterbacks, right? They play with two, and then I know he got hurt, and then six started this last game, and you saw what he was able to do, especially with his legs. And then they have packages where they put two quarterbacks on the field, and they'll play number 12 as well, and he's a really good runner as well. So we'll just have to be really keen on making sure that we know who's in the game and what they do best. So.
In your experience, when a team's coming off a bye week, do you get the kitchen sink a little bit? Get plays that you didn't think you'd see, new stuff?
Yeah, that's every week. I mean, that's every week. When the offensive script that first 10, 15, 20 plays, you see a repeat of things that have hurt you in the past, and then you see the new twist that they think are going to give them an advantage. Last game we played, there were some things they did early on that we didn't rep, and then as the game went on, guys did a nice job of talking on the sideline. Hey, they did this, they put him here, they did it. Let's just play it like this, and then adjust it, and then they come back to those plays, and then they didn't hit anymore. So it'll be the same way. Northwestern there, you can see that they have kind of like a shift or a game plan of how they want to move and explode. We call it explosions, where they start off in one formation, then they'll explode into another formation, and then run a certain set of plays off of it. So we'll see a whole bunch of new stuff from them.
We haven't talked to you since Illinois. Coach Rhule said that goal line stand to start the game could be a pivotal play this season. How do you regard it, and why was it important to you?
Yeah, the feel after that was made was that they can do anything, and again, I keep expressing the fact that the young men on the grass, they train all year to get big and fast and strong, and then they go through drills and they go through practice. But when they do it on the grass, in front of everybody, the validation and the confidence, you see it right then and there. Like when they ran off the sideline on that, you felt like they can do anything tonight, And when they did that, at any time, I'm going to talk about in the fourth quarter, no matter what, anytime the defense had to run on the field, those guys were geeked up. You know what I mean? So now, again, they saw that what they had to do to get themselves ready to play. They saw what they're able to do when they believe and they play with confidence and swag. Now it's a matter of making sure we replicate those things in practice so that way they can take the grass knowing that they're ready to do that thing again.
How has Luke Reimer come back for you?
Good. I mean, he's back to old Luke. I told him when he was taking reps the other day, it was like he's a new guy out there. He's, making calls and not sure and all this kind of stuff. It was like, hey, bro, like you've been here before, let's go. And now today he was back to old Luke running around and stuff, so he looked good.
What's it like with Coach Rhule and just his willingness to, what if we move this guy over here, like Jeremiah and Bryce popping up at corner, and have you worked with a coach who does that as much even in season?
No, never. But that's what makes Coach Rhule. You know what I mean? Like he's looking beyond just what everybody sees. He's always looking for one advantage here and there, how to put one guy in the right position, how to just do things 1% better, and that's good in the moment, and then that's great as a coach when you watch and see how he does it and how he's looking at it and stuff, and then you say, why wouldn't I try that approach the same way to things, So it's good for everybody.
Coach, Matt Rhule said that yesterday he talked about meeting the players and adapting to his coaching style to kind of meet and connect with the players. How have you seen your coaching style adapt to this specific team?
No, it's the same way. Everything in the program, it starts with the head man. I mean, and he sets the tone. And the one thing he's always done is he always wants to be right there with the players. He doesn't want to be top down. He wants to be eye to eye with those guys. And everything he's done, from, again, sitting down and eating dinner with those guys to having them, he has them at his house right now during the year. I mean, you don't naturally hear that, but he has position groups at his house hosting, you know what I mean? And everything is always seeing eye to eye with those guys, so they know that when you coach them hard, that you're loving them hard, you know what I mean? So it's really easy to follow an example when he sets the tone like that,
For the young guys on your defense, how important was it to maybe get them, 5 snaps here, get them on the field early for their long-term growth?
Yeah, I mean, Van Pop, just when you said that, Van Pop is a guy, he had been playing He'd been playing 5, 6, 7 snaps, 10 snaps. You know, played early, made some plays in the Colorado game, all that kind of stuff. And then lo and behold, Illinois, you see what he did. You know what I mean? Now he's doing that, and there's going to be some other guys that do the same thing. You know, that have gotten a couple snaps here and there, and now all of a sudden now their role is going to increase now that they're beyond the threshold of redshirting and all that stuff. You know, so anytime you can get guys on the grass to let them go play under the lights and then truly see who they are and what they do, I think it's invaluable, especially not only for their growth, but then for the retention, right? Everybody wants to play. So when after the season they look and say, yo, I got a chance to play, they're hungry for the off season to do stuff right, to do. Conversely, you got a guy who hasn't played, right? Now he's not as happy, you know, all this kind of stuff. So it's really, really crucial to get guys in who can play and get them on the grass and show what they can do.
Coach, you look at Jamar Butler evolve. I think he had a sack and a half in the last game and thought he could have had more. And what's next for him?
Yeah, again, I think that's a testament to everybody in the offseason, right? Including Jamar, showing what he can do. You know, he like Mackay, Buda, Javen, Bullock. You had all these guys who had the attributes that make up a good football player. And then from the development in the offseason to them being taught certain things in the classroom by T. Knight and Rob and those guys, and then letting them be able to go out there and just totally let loose and play. I think guys like Jamari are getting a chance to show what he's about, truly show what he's about, you know what I mean? And he's continuing to get better. I mean, the more he plays, the more comfortable he's going to get. That means the faster he's going to play, the more plays he's going to make, you know? So it's really fun to watch those guys who, again, they always thought they can do something, but now he's starting to know he can do something, you know, so it's cool.
Coach, you look at like one of those games that you saw on Saturday, like one of those knockout drag fight games between Iowa and Wisconsin. I mean, as a defensive coordinator, what are those games like to be in if you've been in them before, and how difficult does it make your job?
Well, that's crazy that you say that, because there's two views, right? Mm-hmm. There's the view where if you feel like the guys have anxiety and they're worried, then you take on that as a defensive coordinator, like one mistake is going to hurt you. You know what I mean? So you're like, dang, one mistake can't hurt me, then it might affect your play calling. The last game we played, not to bring that up again, but after that goal line stand, like when those guys were ready to take the field, there was no worries. It was like, hey, they're going to go out there and ball, so let's go play. You know what I mean? There was zero of this looking at the scoreboard, zero. They wanted to play football. They wanted it to be Sunday night. You know what I mean? So I think that's the key, that Coach Rhule was able to get them to that point to know what it was like, you know, to have that kind of success. So now everything is geared towards replicating that, you know, and then increasing it from there.
I know Jamari is a new black shirt, right? And so is Nick. Do you have any other new ones, and why did you give out those two?
I don't know if there's any new ones. Phelan earned it last week, right? And again, it's the emphasis on who we think is going to be the starter for that game, you know, and that was one of Coach Rhule's biggest deals. You know, he take less ceremony out of it and make sure that the black shirt meaning was restored, that there's going to be a way you play football here, defensive football here in Nebraska, right, and make sure that we want to be one of the top defensive teams in the country, period. And so if you're going to be a starter for that, then you're going to be awarded. So those guys were the ones who did it. I mean, what their approach, their productivity, everything, when they get a black shirt, it's because of them. I mean, it's not given out. They earned it.
That must have been a pretty special moment for Phelan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, I said this before. You talk to any old black shirt, and they remember the first time they ever got it. And I asked the same thing with these guys, and they all remember like this. I mean, they remember the feeling. So it was good to have a good guy, an OU guy, earn his black shirt. And I know that's a memory he'll have for a long time.
So there's 11 guys with black shirts?
There's 11, and then, you know, if there's a guy like, you know, like Luke was hurt and stuff like that, Coach didn't want to take away his black shirt, you know what I mean, like, because that's a different circumstance, so he left his. So there's 11, and then that one was 12. Yeah.
Tony had his first interception at Illinois. If you think back to when you guys got here, how important was he in terms of you guys not only teaching the defense, but also him just kind of leading the entire group?
Yeah, you know, that's crazy, because I didn't even know that. you know, for as good as Q was, I'm like, you know, you a DB in the Big Ten, you done intercepted some balls, right? I mean, like, I'm just thinking like that. So then when they said, no, this is the first one, I was flabbergasted. I was like, what? Really? And so for him, again, it goes back to once they do it once, now you get the itch to be like, I can do this again and again. And the more he builds that confidence, because again, he knew he was a good football player, but that was the one thing that was missing, right? He almost had one at La Tech. But I think of him actually doing it, getting it, and then the return. You know, one he just got tackled by a whole bunch of non-athletes. I mean, he took it down the sideline, made a dude miss, and was actually going to go score, and a guy caught him from behind. You know what I mean? So just I think that is going to, especially as you come down to November, you know what I mean? You want to win championships and put yourself in contention. Like, you were going to need Q to be great, you know, and that play was hopefully a turning point where he knows he can go get him. Thank you.